rocking afternoon after Friday noon. You know, I got to thinking, we just went and helped their daughter out getting a tire at Mike's Used Tire. You guys ever need a tire? Check out Mike's Used Tire on Genesee, man. He's been in business for years, decades. You got to be a good person if you're in business for decades, because if not, you'll get found out and you won't be in business for long. But I was thinking, you know, life is as beautiful as the people we surround ourselves with. And I say that not knocking anybody I used to surround myself with, period, at all. Right? I made poor choices when I was, oh man, bad accident up here. I made poor choices when I was a youngin', and I chose to hang around with people, you know, that I probably wouldn't hang out with today, because they're just looking for different results out of life today. And I realized that that's one of the main things. Sorry, there's a bunch of confusion up here, a bunch of big accident. I'll show you. Right straight ahead of me, there's a pretty big accident on Genesee here. So I'm just gonna turn around up here. You know, I made a lot of good memories with the people that I was around and surrounded myself with when I was younger, but it also gave me, because of the choices I did or didn't make in life, it gave me bad results. Today, on the other hand, and that isn't knocking any of the people I grew up with. I still love those people, and want the best for them in life. Like, I don't want nothing bad for those people, you know what I mean? Like, I want good for them. But in order, I believe, this isn't just my belief, this is a fact. In order to have a great life, one must surround themselves with great-minded people. What do I mean by that? I mean people that bring you value to the conversation you are having with them when you're surrounding. Like, for example, we've all hung out with a person that every single thing that comes out of their mouth is a complaint about somebody else or something around them that made their life suck or something like that, right? And those are energy draining, energy sucking individuals, and it's nothing against them. Like, that's their choice to be that way. It's totally their choice. You know, what I call that is not taking responsibility for who you are in your life circumstances in that moment, right? So a lot of people want to blame their mom, their dad, their uncle, their aunt, their neighborhood they grew up in, whatever. They want to blame everything on everybody but themselves of why they are where they are. So what they tend to do in life is they feed off the negativity, because that backs the circumstances and situations that they're in. So when I say, if we want a good life, we got to surround ourselves by good people, and you got to be around people that bring you value when they communicate to you. I'm not talking about dollars and things of that nature. I'm talking about when you start the conversation with that individual, do you leave in the same mood, a better mood, or a worse mood? And if you leave in a worse mood from the conversation, from before you got around them, if you leave in a worse mood, it's a good indicator that you might want to not surround yourself with those people. And for example, I cannot stand, I'm just going to give you some of my pet peeves. I cannot stand drama talk. This is going to sound bad, because a lot of people gossip. Like super dramatic gossip talk. When people are not in your circle and somebody else is talking about that person in a negative fashion, I cannot stand that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that conversation is never going to move me closer to my goals, dreams, and aspirations in life than an optimistic, positive conversation can. And we live in a world and society where, if you want to know the truth, a large majority of the population, I'm not saying all, I'm not saying you, I'm not singling out anybody, is in that negative mindset of the blame game, the drama, the let's gossip about every Tom, Dick, and Harry in our town. I cannot stand that, and that gives me the worst energy I've ever had. And our whole entire outcomes in life are predicated off the energy we feel within us. So if you're getting a bunch of negative drama impacting your life from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, your outcome in life is going to reflect that. Because you can't see opportunities, visions, and dreams if all you're hearing is negative drama, gossip, bullshit. Like, you can't see, you can't think of, because you're constantly battling, the mind is constantly battling that negative energy. That negative energy will never, I promise you, will never give you the life you aspire to have inside your beautiful little brain up there. It'll never give it to you. You can never do it. So if that's the fact, which it is, why do we tolerate being around people that feed off drama? I'm going to break down my viewpoint of why people feed off drama. If people have a lot of great things going in their life, what I've learned over the years, they don't drama talk or they don't gossip talk. And if they do, it's very minimal. It's minimal to nil because they have enough great going on in their life to have a conversation without bringing somebody else into it. Now there's other gossip, which is positive gossip. I talk my wife up all the time when she's not in the room. I talk our team up all the time when she's not in the room. I talk a multitude of our clients and friends and family up when they're not in the room. That is healthy gossip. The moment it's pessimistic is, or the moment it's negative gossip towards a person, the crazy part is that person is just showing the cowardness they have within them. Meaning, if I have a problem with Bill, and I don't go approach Bill about the problem, I bring it to Jenna down the road and tell her all about the problem. I just showed Jenna that I am a complete coward and I have no backbone or mental intellect enough to be able to have the conversation I need to with Bill to resolve the issue. I'm showing Jenna and the rest of the world I'm gossiping to what a coward I am. Life for me, the older I get, gets better. The reason it gets better is because I isolate the people that I allow into my bubble anymore. I just don't allow anybody that wants to have a conversation with. No, I'm not saying that people stop and say hi to me. I'm not talking about that. I observe characters like my life depends on it, because it does. So I observe heavily. And my livelihood and dreams and aspirations are heavily predicated around people that are going to speak life into my life, opposed to drama about Nikki down the road. So I pick and choose very carefully who I conversate with. Because I want my life rewarding, and I owe myself to have good relationships in my life. And the only way to do that is to observe and pick and choose who you allow in your circle. I don't care who it is. You have a choice. I have a choice. So life can be as fruitful as we wish it to be. But if we're weak-minded and we don't have a backbone enough to tell people, hey, look, man, I don't talk about that shit. If you want to talk about Nikki, go talk to Nikki about Nikki. Don't come talk to everybody. Everybody around me knows that. Everybody, including my family. One of the siblings got a problem with the other sibling. You go talk to that sibling about that. Don't bring it to me. You go communicate and try to resolve the issue with the person you have the problem with. Don't drama dump on me. Don't do that. You ain't ruining my shine today. People say, well, that's selfish. Well, sometimes you got to be a little selfish in life. If you want to enjoy your peace inside your mind, as I value my peace of mind more than anything, because I can only be as productive as where my mindset is. I can only accomplish as much as I can accomplish predicated around where my mindset is, because I know what I allow in here will come out in the rest of my life. It will unfold into my life. And there was one time in my life where I was the gossiper. I was the drama individual. I was the one talking about Nikki to Jenna and talking about Bill to Jenna. I was that guy. When I was that guy, my life sucked. I had a terrible life. I'm not saying it couldn't have been worse. It could have been worse. Yeah, there's always somebody else out there that's worse than you. But I manifested a pretty shitty life into existence because I thought that was the right thing to do. That's what people do. They talk about other people. Well, sure, people are going to talk about other people. But if you have a hard time with drama talking about other people, try to do yourself a favor. Try to surround yourself with somebody that you admire, maybe, and that they have some qualities that you might want. And then go start talking to people about their good qualities they have. And watch how quick your mindset begins to shift. And the outlook of your life begins to change. And then when the outlook of your life begins to change, the trajectory of your outcomes can begin to change. But until then, if you're always gossip Justin, or gossip Billy, or gossip Jenna, or gossip whoever, if you're always that person, the outcome isn't going to be as great as it could be if it wasn't. So there's a lot of times, me and my wife's had this conversation multiple times. We don't have a lot of close, immediate friends that, we gather with every weekend, and they stop over. And the reason being is most of our friendships today are building their dreams. They don't have all the time in the world to say, hey, let's just stop in and see what Justin's doing. They don't. It's a different friendship level. Because they're currently focused. But when I do communicate with those friends, it is never negative, pessimistic energy. Never. I always come out of those conversations with a more grateful mindset than when that conversation started. And that is, my friends, the trick to a grateful, happy outlook and a prosperous life, if you want to ask my opinion. That's the key. Our conversation. So a lot of people say, well, that doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you something. Everything matters. I wasted 3 hours on a conversation with somebody all about Lisa down the road. It doesn't matter. It's just everything matters. Everything. What you tell yourself, what you talk to other people about, the possibilities you put in your mind and the doubts you put in your mind, it all matters. All of it. Every bit of it, every last millipede of it. It all matters. I used to be the guy that went around, oh, F it, it doesn't matter. Well, that was the attitude that got me in the places that I got into. Everything matters. The conversations we have with people matter. The lack thereof conversations we have with people matter. The quality of our relationship. So you can use a relationship scale, okay? It's very simple. Bad, moderate, great, okay? So, and you can weigh, you can think of that mentally. Bad, moderate, great. When you're having these conversations with your friends, do I come out in a moderately better mood than I did before I had this conversation? Did I come out in an outstanding mood after I had this conversation? Or did I come out down in the dumps and pissy pants after I had this conversation? And you can begin to weigh out your communications with the people you communicate with and decide for yourself if those conversations are still worth having. And that little trick right there, my friends, will alter your entire existence in life. The people you have in your life or don't matter. I believe the people you have in your life matter more than the intelligence it's going to take for you to create whatever you want to create. Your surroundings matter more than your finances. People will doubt that, but trust and believe. If you're around the right surroundings, your finances you won't have to worry about. If you're around the wrong, you'll definitely always be worrying about your finances. People are the key to your happiness in life. Although, just because other people are happy, things rub off. I always use the analogy. Have you ever seen a person worth $50 million hanging out with somebody that's worth 50? You do not see it. Very seldom do you ever see it, and there's a reason for it, and it's not because the person that has $50 million thinks they're better than the person that has 50. Not at all. They just know that the conversation that the $50 mindset will have, opposed to the $50 million, will impact the individuals that has 50 million. It will impact them in a negative manner because the conversations look different. I just think life's it's just getting better and better. And that is all a choice as well. I am a human being that love to see people flourish and win in life. It inspires me even more when I see that. I hate seeing people lose. I hate it. I don't like it. And I don't hate much. I dislike a lot, but I don't hate much. Hate's strong. I hate seeing people lose. Here's the reason why. Because I know if they were surrounded by the right people, they could be winning. So Justin, how do you get around the right people? Well, there's a first great step. Get rid of the ones that are giving you negative energy first. I'm not telling you to cut all your friends off, cut your family off, but you know what? You might have to not give them as much time as you once used to. That's where you start. And then you might be lonely for a couple years. So what? You'll grow more in that 2 years than you ever did in your entire life. When you're manifesting yourself, when you're working on yourself, when you're trying to become a more optimistic individual, when people start seeing that, you are going to attract that relationship into your life. Have you ever seen the person that's miserable that just says, I just need a relationship, it'd make the man or woman would make me happy? No, it won't. You're just going to ruin their life. You're going to take that happy individual and you are going to toxic their life. You're going to spew toxicity into their life. That's it. They ain't going to fix you because they can't, first of all. Another human being cannot fix another human being unless the other human being is willing to participate in the betterment of themselves. An individual that is optimistic, just being around them, it's a great start, can't make a pessimist happy. Okay? Because honestly, the optimist is going to make the pessimist irritable. They're going to get pissed. What's this dude all happy for? What's this woman all smiling ear to ear for? Huh? How dare them? They're going to say all kinds of stupid shit like that. Ask me how I know. I used to be that person. So the Mr. Happy or Mrs. Happy isn't going to make Mr. Miserable or Mrs. Miserable happy. It's not going to happen. It's going to be like, two opposite side magnets pushing each other away. It's going to add toxicity to the one that's optimistic. It's pretty easy math, but we overcomplicate everything as humans for whatever reason. We make it way too much harder than it has to be. It has to be, I don't know, I overcomplicate things too. I'm a human being. I make things more difficult than it has to be sometimes. One of my faults. But if we want a productive, high-value life, whatever that looks like to you, I don't care what high value looks like to you. When I say high value, I'm talking about our relationships, I'm talking about our finance, I'm talking about our mental well-being, I'm talking about our personal health, everything. If we want that, it starts with the people we're willing to choose ourselves to be around. But Justin, it's my Uncle Steve that's always been in my life, and he's such a pessimist. Well, yeah, it's your choice to be around him all day. You don't have to. I mean, if you're underage and you got to live with Uncle Steve, well, then until you're old enough to move out of the house, then you got to deal with that. But after that, it's your choice. But you just can't do that to family or a lifelong friend. Oh, yes, you can. Ask me how I know. Oh, yes, you can. Your mental sanity is the most valuable asset that we have. With that, your mental sanity, or lack thereof mental sanity, will literally be the outcome of all the values in your life. Your relationship quality, your finances, your physical health, your emotional health. It will cover all of it. All of it. You ever hear that old cliche statement? It all starts in the mind. Yeah, that's exactly where it starts. That's a fact. That's not a cliche statement. That's a fact that cannot be bent. You cannot bend that. Oh, but Justin, I know miserable millionaires. Yeah, they're out there. They're out there. I would rather not hang out with a miserable millionaire. Not at all. I don't care. No. So I'm going to leave this video on this, seeing how everybody has a choice in life. Now, if you're living in your parents' roof and you're watching this, you better deal with it until, it's your time to spread your wings. Then, everybody has a choice. We all have a choice of what relationships we're in our life. We all have a choice to value our mental health. Most of us, if we're having to be honest with ourselves, me included, there's been a multitude of times in our life where we didn't value our mental health. Matter of fact, we valued other people's lives more than our own. And we valued other people's mental health more than we did our own. So what I'm saying by that is, you're willing to be miserable to make somebody else content. That's stupid. I'm just going to be blunt. That's stupid. Nothing is worth living in misery. I've lived it for a multitude of years. Today, I do not live in misery. I am greater than content. I am blessed. I'm blessed in my relationships. I'm blessed in my life. I'm blessed in my mental health. I'm blessed in my physical health. I'm blessed in my financial health. I'm blessed in every aspect of my life because I choose to be. Am I content? Content means you're no longer reaching. That's my viewpoint. No, they're going to get better. Shoot for being blessed, not content. I love you guys all. Enjoy your weekend.